Welcome to Words Unspoken, the Hills podcast, paying tribute to the reality show that aired on MTV from 2006 to 2010.
We are two Southern sisters rewatching The Hills in 2016 and chatting about it weekly for your entertainment.
My name is Susan, and I'm a 30-something photographer who hates most reality shows but loves The Hills. I have been rewatching the show for a few months.
My name is Jem. I'm a professional in my 30s who hasn't seen the show since it originally aired, so I'm really looking forward to reliving the magic again 10 years later.
We watched the first few seasons of the show in real time when we were younger versions of ourselves, and we are so excited to revisit every episode from our new points of view. Today we are discussing episode 6 of season 1, Boyfriends and Work Don't Mix.
But they do.
Jem, they don't.
Sometimes they do.
Well, let's talk about the episode so we can talk about why they don't. This episode begins with the ladies, Audrina, Heidi, and Lauren lunching outside. It looks like a beautiful California day.
And the topic of conversation is that it is about to be Heidi and Jordan's big anniversary.
And Jem, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. It's their anniversary. They've been together so long. And they're like, oh, what anniversary is it? 6 months.
6 months. You know what, Susan? It is a tough world out there, and if any couple can make it for 6 months, more power to them.
If any couple can make it for 6 months, it would be Heidi and Jordan, because they are like a really great, strong couple.
Yeah, there's a lot of positivity and a lot of maturity, and they're really down to earth. They're gonna be together forever. I feel it.
To be fair, 6 months when you're 19 years old is a little long of a time, but not really. I don't remember ever celebrating a 6-month anniversary with dinner and gifts and stuff, but whatever, we'll get to that.
I never got asked out via Lily's either. I felt a little bit jealous about that.
I mean, that's a pretty elaborate ask out, so.
Which Heidi didn't seem to realize until her friends pointed it out. She was like, oh my gosh, that was really sweet.
It must be Jordan's gentlemanly southernness coming out.
Yeah.
And then Lauren makes an interesting comment. She said, oh, when you're in high school and you're a good girl, at 6 months you give it up. And then she kind of giggles like, oh, I wish I hadn't just said that. But I loved that moment because it felt super real. I feel like a lot of times she hides behind kind of a prim veneer sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It was a very scandalous thing for Lauren to say.
So then we move on to Bolt House, and Brent pulls Heidi into his office and tells her, you're going to be working in the clubs. And the look on Heidi's face, her whole face lights up, her life lights up. She is happier than I've ever seen her before.
It is lucky that Brent called her in when he did, because she was drowning in a pile of work, aka playing cards on her work computer. And he had to shout for her a couple of times before she could distract herself from this game to just go in his office and get the good news. If only she had known what he was about to tell her. And I think he tried to make it sound like it was going to be bad news, because he said, how do I say this? And then told her she'd be working in the clubs, and then she lived happily ever after.
And the last time we saw Heidi, she was discussing quitting because she wasn't enjoying it and she didn't want to be like a glorified office worker. And then this job miraculously comes up right in the nick of time. So, Jem, do you remember last episode when it was Jason's birthday and Lauren had to work?
Yes.
Well, now we have Heidi's anniversary and Heidi has to work.
There's just a little theme going on here.
I know. It creates some great tension. Anyway, so Heidi is going to be assisting Elodie, and so now Heidi will miss her date, her anniversary date, which sounded super exciting. They were going to dinner and then going bowling.
I mean, that's almost as fun as going to the gnarliest movie theater in town.
I mean, 6-month anniversary is bowling, right?
Obviously, yeah. 6-month anniversary is bowling, 8 months is roller skating, and 9 months is laser tag.
So then we go to FIDM.
Susan, I noticed a little something when I was watching Heidi sitting at her desk when she was having the conversation with Elodie, and realizing slowly and horrifiedly, that's a word, that this was falling on her anniversary. There are some busts on her desk, and I think they're of Plato and Lincoln. I'm going to need confirmation from some of our more astute viewers when Brent told Heidi that she was going to be working the clubs, he informed her the club is a whole different animal.
Oh, Brent.
I love him.
How we love thee.
I love him so much. We love him so much that one day our Instagram had like 8 memes of him.
So then we go to FIDM, and Lauren is just walking on the street when all of a sudden Jason pulls up, and she's like, "What are you doing here?"
No, let's break this down minute by minute.
Okay, let's.
This is the freaking creepiest scene to date in 2006 of The Hills. Jason is lurking within his car, looking around for Lauren to appear. Then suddenly, as she's walking down the road, he materializes like a creeper out of the sea of cars and meters. And Lauren's like, "What are you doing here?" And Jason's just like, "Hey, I want to talk about what happened."
Did you notice how different he looked, by the way?
Yeah, I think that there was a facial hair change of some sort, and he was more tan.
Okay, that's what it was then, because I was like, wow, he looks completely different than he did at his birthday party. But I know, like, they were referencing that was just a few days ago, so you're right, it must have been the facial hair.
So they start to have a conversation about what happened, and Lauren tells Jason that he really hurt her feelings, and all of a sudden, Jason becomes incapable of making eye contact. It is completely impossible. And he continues to say, "I understand, and I would be sad too," but never, Susan, never does he say, "I'm sorry."
Well, once again, like I said in the last episode, I don't think he should have to. I think he's absolutely in the right. It was his birthday party. He shouldn't have had to sit next to Lauren all night and just talk to her. He needed to go talk to his friends. That's what you do at a birthday party. So I think that was all fine. I honestly don't think he had anything to apologize for, except for at the end when he was being kind of a jerk. Obviously, the whole issue was not that he wasn't sitting next to her. It was he told her in the car, "If you don't want to go out later, you can go home." And the way he said it was kind of rude, like, "I'm going out no matter what." And also the way he said it was kind of like, "I hope you don't come out because I want to get into mischief."
Yeah, he wanted to misbehave and not have her around to make him feel bad about it.
So I think that was the real issue. But so for the dinner stuff, I'm like, I feel like he does not have anything to apologize for. But
no, great. But at the end of the night, he was kind of a jerk.
Oh, yeah. But she didn't say that is the thing. That wasn't what she was mad at him about. She said she was mad because he hurt her feelings. So it's like she's not talking about the real issues like she should be. So they just like argue, and finally they kind of make up and kiss each other, but you could tell they were sad, and then Lauren walks away and she just looks so frustrated. So like that didn't help her at all. She didn't get anything off her chest. She just looks really frustrated.
It just stressed her out more.
Exactly. And she has to go to a test. So then we go to Teen Vogue, and they're having a meeting where they're discussing the DKNY Jeans event.
And they're the most aggressive flowers in the middle of that boardroom table I've ever seen in my life.
More aggressive than the tree?
More aggressive than the tree that was delivered to Lauren from Jason. I think that on a scale of 1 to 10, the Jason tree was an 11 from a floral arrangement perspective, and then maybe the boardroom flowers are like a 9. So no, nothing beats the tree.
This is a memorable scene because this is Whitney's first solo scene.
Oh, that's true, it is. But you know what she does a whole heck of a lot during this meeting, Susan?
What?
Whitney nods like there's no tomorrow, and nodding in a meeting is a horrible habit. It is definitely one that I have, and all I saw the whole meeting was her like being a bobblehead, nodding her head every time something was said by the great and powerful Lisa Love.
Well, she is an intern, so I understand that. She probably feels super awkward in every meeting.
She other than that, she was very poised though. She looked like she'd been there her whole life, and I thought she'd fit in very well with the group.
Oh, and by the way, hey Jay, hey.
So wait, is Jay the guy with the accent who's designing the jeans line?
I'm not sure who he is. He was so cute, I lost all train of thoughts.
Yeah, he's the one I think who was kind of like directing the actual designs, but Blaine was also in the room. Blaine, the drama queen.
Yeah, I don't think he's that cute.
No, I didn't mean about him being cute. I'm just saying he was in the room trying desperately to think of something dramatic dramatic to say, and he could think of nothing.
Well, Lisa's like, where's Lauren? And Whitney just looks alarmed, and she's like, oh, she's not here. You know, she had a test or something. And Lisa, you know what days Lauren probably has class, and she's not supposed to be there, so it's fine.
I think Lisa only knows how to be super serious and businesslike and terrifying and awesome. That's all she knows.
It was very dramatic.
I love her.
So then we flash back real quick to FIDM, and we have this montage of Lauren taking a quiz, and she looks really confused the whole time.
I really liked her rolled up jeans and her ballet flats, in addition to obviously like one of the headbands of all time that Lauren wears. But I really liked her flats in those scenes.
So then we go back to Teen Vogue, and Whitney calls Lauren in a panic, telling her about the fashion show and being like, this is so much work. This is more work than we've ever had before. I need you there for me. Please, please be there for me.
This is another installment in Jem's 2006 technology watch. Whitney makes a call to Lauren on a pink razor. Now Whitney has a razor too.
Yay!
So exciting. And again, I had the thing where I was watching the episode and my husband was pretending to not watch. And he said, babe, I have a question. What I want to know is, are there more words in the dialogue of this show or in the song clips they play in this show? And then he did his own little reenactment and like made up a song that would totally sound like a song in the hills. But I couldn't secretly record it for the listening pleasure of our fans. So I am sincerely sorry.
How unfortunate.
Because he has a beautiful singing voice. JK!
So then we go to Bolt House. Heidi has to go in and meet with Jen, who looks very grouchy. And Heidi said, oh, I want to start Saturday instead of Wednesday. And Jen is like, no, you will start Wednesday. Like, she's very angry that she even asked that.
Is this the scene where she's told to not wear Uggs?
Yes. I love that out of everything she said, like, don't drink, don't do this, don't do that, she had to specifically call out Uggs. Clearly that's something that someone else did, and so she feels the need to actually say that. I thought that was so funny.
Someone in the past made that mistake and wore Uggs to the club. You know what, though? Whoever did that, I give them props, because their feet were probably hurting really badly doing that job, and they were just trying to be comfy and thought no one would notice, and then they just ruined it for everyone else.
Uggs are horrific, so I don't agree with you on that one. So, in this scene, it's funny because remember when Heidi met with Brent earlier and her whole face like lit up and she was so happy? Well, it's as if Jen comes and like stomps on her head because her face just drains of excitement and she looks like, what? I can't drink? I can't have fun with my friends? Like, what? Okay, here's my question. What did Heidi think working in the clubs would mean? Did she honestly think she'd be able to like hang out with her friends, meet all these celebrities? Like, she had a completely different view in her mind of what was really going to happen when you are working in the clubs.
And you would think that Heidi would have heard enough talk around the office from other people and chatted with Elodie enough to know that it is tough and it's a late night and there's no, socializing with your boyfriend on your anniversary. But once again, Heidi doesn't always pick up on the cues and heads straight down the trail of disaster yet again.
So then we switch to Hillside Villas real quick. Lauren and Jason are getting ready to go to breakfast.
He says Heidi ho.
Wow, I missed that.
He says Heidi ho.
Awkward. And then we're at the Sunset Marquis Hotel for the fitting and rehearsal day. There's models everywhere. And the first model I saw was Amber Stevens from Greek. I was so excited to see her.
I don't know what any of that means.
That's because you didn't watch Greek.
No.
I feel sad for you, how much you've missed out on by not seeing Greek, which was on ABC Family, which, as you know, was my favorite TV station.
Yeah, you do love some ABC Family, and you also love their holiday movies.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't like My Fake Fiancé or Holiday in Handcuffs.
You've never watched Holiday in Handcuffs more than one time.
R.I.P. ABC Family. It's now called Freeform.
Really?
Well, I think they wanted to get that family out of there.
ABC Family no longer exists?
No, it does not.
Susan, you are so full of TV knowledge. Like, if it's not a sad documentary about a really tragic historical situation, I don't know anything about it. So thanks for filling me in.
You're so welcome.
All right, so Susan, this is the part of the episode where I start to get a little bit confused because the guy that you hated earlier in the boardroom, who he said was cute with the accent, whatever his name was, this is where he and Blaine start to become the same person to me. I'm really confused in every scene who is who. So I might say some things about Blaine that are really the other guy and vice versa. So just bear with me here. There is a moment where I'm pretty sure it's Blaine. 99.9% sure it's Blaine. Just giving side eye throughout the entire fitting as if he clearly Jess is waiting any moment to jump in and make some sort of dramatic comment. I really think that Blaine craved a career of stardom on the hills, and I don't know if it's going to happen to him.
We'll see. I think that was Jay, though.
Dang it.
Who knows? I don't remember. You've watched it twice. I only watched it once.
Then I think that my decisions about who's Blaine and who's not Blaine should stand.
Agreed. So apparently Lauren is late, and everybody's like freaking out about her being late. And so the events producer is like, someone needs to call Lauren. And so they call Lauren, and Jason's driving her to the fashion show. And she's like, I'm almost there. And when she hangs up, she's like, I have 5 minutes before I should be there. Now, granted, you should be earlier than 5 minutes early. And it ends up that she's 5 minutes late.
Yeah, I think that it's a low point in what we've seen from Lauren so far when she arrives, and Laura, the booking model editor, has to explain what lateness means. But it might be kind of the lowest career moment we see from Lauren, but who knows?
It isn't.
Oh no.
I mean, everybody knows that. Come on. But anyway.
I'm not everybody.
I was annoyed by the way she was talking to her, though. Like, oh, you're a child, blah, blah, blah. I mean, really, it was 5 minutes late. And I'm someone who is petrified of being 1 minute late, and I still thought this was ridiculous. And it was like they just went out of their way to embarrass her, I feel like.
I agree.
And I feel like people do that a lot in her professional career. It's like they're kind of rooting for her. So then we go back to the Hillside Villas, and Heidi's getting ready for her work. And she's whining to Lauren about having to work on her anniversary. Although for the last million episodes, she's been whining about wanting to go work in the clubs, and now she's mad because she has to go out without Jordan. So her solution to this is to invite him to come to the club and have fun without her.
And she clearly learned a lesson from the earlier episode when she crashed Lauren's party. And I love how she's like, I've never been to a club without him before. What if you walk into a club without Jordan? You will spontaneously combust and be a giant explosion of glitter and then never be seen again.
She hasn't been to a club without Jordan in the massive amount of 6 months that they've been together.
In all of their 6 months, who knows what could happen if he didn't come.
It's just such a special anniversary.
It really is. It really is. It warms my heart that we're talking about it so much.
So then we head to Smashbox Studios for the DKNY fashion show.
So much hairspray, Susan.
So many models, Jim.
Blaine dramatically stirring up trouble.
People rushing around everywhere. So Lauren has the very important job of calling the model who is late over and over again. And of course she doesn't answer, and it's really dramatic. So the powers that be decide that Whitney is going to take this model's place.
I'm so excited for Whitney in this moment because you can just feel how pumped she is and how surprised and amazed that she is. And of course she's Whitney, so she totally deserves it. We've no secret of the fact that we adore Whitney Port, and we were probably both pretty excited when this happened to her.
Oh, definitely. And she's so pretty and elegant, and I'm sure she's actually modeled before, like when she was a teen or something, because she has that, like she's very poised.
Oh, I'm sure.
So then we head out to Heidi and Jordan's anniversary dinner.
At Marrakesh.
And once again, Heidi's getting a little whiny about having to be outside and not being able to party with Jordan and enjoy their anniversary.
These kids are really bad at living in the moment.
They really
are. Observed.
They really are. And then Jordan gives Heidi her anniversary present, which is a beautiful pair of fake pearl earrings.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I was hoping that you saw what they were. I kind of ran it back a couple of times, and pearl earrings were my best guess, but I needed to confirm that with you, so I'm glad that we settled that.
Yeah, which obviously they were fake because they were those ginormous. They were large. Nothing wrong with that. I mean,
no.
It would have been ridiculous if it was like a diamond tennis bracelet for a 6-month anniversary. I just thought it was funny if there was a present at all, to be honest.
And she was like, they're so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Then we head back to the fashion show where Whitney is having a walk and they're just getting her ready and there's a mad rush and there's just people everywhere. These fashion shows seem super chaotic, by the way.
That's the hallmark of a good fashion show. It's just got to be mayhem backstage.
I know. It just seems very stressful. I don't think I would want to do that. And I've worked some crazy events before. So then we go to the LAX nightclub club. Heidi, Elodie, and Jen are working the line.
And it's as if Heidi has never seen the line of a club before in her life. She is shocked at the number of people that are trying to get in.
I love that the office manager is the one telling her what to do. You think if you were the office manager, it would be like a 9 to 5. I was like, that sounds like a horrible office manager job. You have to go work the line too.
Yeah, there's no rest for the weary at Bolthouse. But Brent Bolthouse is pouting dramatically off to the side this entire scene. I don't know if you noticed.
I did notice. I think he's trying to keep an eye on Heidi to see how badly she's doing.
Or maybe to stay in view of the cameras so that he can be super duper extra bored. I love you, Brent Bolthouse.
So then Jordan and Brian show up.
Wah, wah.
I saw Brian's face. Do we have to?
Really, must we? Must we Brian again in another episode? When is he going to go away?
Our listeners have told us we're too mean to Brian, but once again, I'm okay with it. He deserves it.
I feel no shame or disappointment in myself for my harshness towards Brian because I feel like it's very warranted.
So Heidi just leaves after a little bit, just walks away, goes into the club, and Jen is looking for her and says, I'm having a cow right now.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. And that was one of those moments where I was like, did she really just say that or did I mishear it? But no, she said she was having a cow.
It was hilarious.
It's really funny. As Heidi sits down to socialize illegally with Jordan and Brian, our two favorite guys, who should show up, but as the subtitles tell us, Heidi's ex-date. Susan, what is an ex-date?
I died laughing. Like we've talked about in another episode, sometimes just reading those titles underneath their names is the funniest thing ever, and this was the best one yet.
So this guy stirs up a little bit of trouble, you know, he's like, I used to date her, she's really great, you know, just trying to make Jordan a little bit jealous or whatever, and he goes on his way.
So Brian and Jordan seem to be quite intoxicated by this point.
Agreed.
Like they're barely,
coherent?
Yes. And then all of a sudden, something happens that never happens, and Heidi and Jordan are fighting.
No.
It's true.
It's like a powder keg with those two. I mean, they could say, oh, you know, our dinner looks great tonight, and then they're instantly squabbling. It doesn't take a lot.
So Heidi's like, whatever, I have to go back to work, and she leaves. And then Brian once again proves why he is the most disliked character for me on this show when he says, girls are too friendly.
You know what I mean.
Jim, when Brian says girls are too friendly, what is he referring to?
Brian means that all women should be in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant, not speaking to anyone. They should definitely never speak to another member of the male gender because something horrible might happen. They are absolutely out of control, cannot be contained. If Heidi speaks to another man, she's instantly going to break up with him and they're going to be over forever. Girls are too friendly, you know what I mean?
Let me take a moment to speak to girls in our audience right now that if a guy is jealous of someone that you went on one date with and it is your 6-month anniversary, he is not a good guy. Like, that is an insecure guy.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. So Heidi goes back outside to the other girls, and they're all like, what happened? What happened? And they're super gossiping, and the other girls just look so delighted with this story. They're very excited about the gossip.
And they're really glad it's not happening to them. They just prefer to be voyeurs and watch it all going down.
I think they're living vicariously through Heidi. So then we head back to the DKNY fashion show. Lisa and Blaine are sitting in the audience. Whitney
Okay, hold please. This is one of the parts where I'm like, is it Blaine or is it the designer guy? I really need it to be Blaine.
What to be Blaine?
The guy sitting lurking dramatically at Lisa Love's elbow.
Oh no, that's Blaine.
Okay, good.
It said Blaine on the screen.
Oh,
so
wow.
you might want to watch more carefully next time, Jim.
Whitney has a great red lip in this scene. I love her look.
She looks gorgeous and so elegant and pretty.
The DKNY jeans theme seems to be a little bit an American in Paris type ensemble. They have the neckerchiefs going on, leopard neckerchiefs. It's an interesting look. I don't really remember that time in life. I don't think I ever had a leopard neckerchief with my jeans and my jacket, but who knows?
Well, if you ever see anything from fashion shows, and like normal people do not wear the stuff they wear in fashion shows, it's always like super exaggerated, so that's not really a surprise. So Whitney goes down the runway. Oh my gosh, she looks amazing. She looks like a natural, like she's done it a million times. goes. And Lisa leans over and says to Blaine, she's so composed all the time.
Whitney has my dream personality. I'll never be like her as long as I live. Everything that Lisa says about her is everything that I wish I could be.
And after they go backstage and they're talking to her and they're like, you were a natural. And Lisa's like, haha, I should introduce you to the head of the modeling agency. And Whitney just looks so relieved.
And Blaine says, she did so great. You were so great. I prefer to think that Blaine is disappointed that Whitney didn't fall flat on her face on the runway and give him some excitement to chat about.
Lauren looks a little sad.
Blaine has a special moment. If it is Blaine, it could be the designer guy. I don't know. Somebody says, given a challenge, you rise. So basically he was preparing for Pinterest a few years down the road. So that quote would be repinned millions of times. Maybe he thought there would be a statue built to him and that would be the quote at the base of the statue. Given a challenge, you rise.
The full quote, Jim, is you girls do well. Given a challenge, you rise. Which I think was pretty generous on his part because I don't really think Lauren did anything. But I think she was also doing Whitney's job and maybe that's what he meant. Like she had to do both their jobs.
Yeah, she had to do double the work. So given the challenge, they both rose.
Then we head back to the LAX nightclub and Heidi goes out the back door where for some reason Jordan is out there. I don't know what he's doing in the back of the club.
He is glowering, I think would be the word, Susan. Glowering by the dumpster.
He does not look happy, and neither does Heidi. They shockingly start arguing, and then they move to the car where they continue arguing.
Can we talk about how he should not be behind the wheel in this moment?
Well, if you look in my notes, I say, oh my gosh, why is he getting in the car? And I'm like, oh good, they're just talking. But of course, they do eventually pull out at the end of the episode. I'm just like, oh my god, he should not be driving. That's very concerning to me.
Yeah, this seems to be a recurring theme in our discussions. And P.S., Heidi and Jordan, worst communication skills ever. They absolutely do not have the communication skills of 2 3-year-olds fighting over their Legos.
Do you have any of that dialogue specifically written down?
I don't.
I don't either.
It was so painful and so elementary, I just could barely get through it.
And I really think it's because, like, Jordan had been drinking and couldn't really even come up with a coherent sentence. It was very, very disturbing. Do not drink and drive, people.
The end of
PSA from Jen and Susan.
Yeah, Jem and Susan for social justice and safety. So at the end of the scene, Heidi tops it all off with a happy anniversary, Jordan.
Jordan also tells Heidi, you drive me insane. That's really rude.
It is rude.
But I mean, it's Jordan. What can I say? No one could ever be as bad as Jordan. He's such
Except Brian.
No one could ever be as bad a boyfriend for Heidi as Jordan.
Susan?
Jem!
What?
No spoilers.
Susan, I think that you may have forgotten about a certain person who was very unhappy with us on a certain social media outlet during the past few days. I will not say this person's name aloud because they could be quite litigious, but we made this person very unhappy with a very offhand comment on a very offhand page, and things went horrendously wrong. We may have gotten a little secret thrill out of it. We angered a future member of the cast ourselves. It's our first big moment as Words Unspoken, the Hills podcast.
I mean, I'm not sure about big moment. It was a rather small moment, if you ask me. Does this episode of The Hills pass the Bechdel test?
The Bechdel test consists of 3 major questions. Question number 1, are there 2 named female characters?
Yes.
In many scenes, actually. There are a lot of women in this episode. Question number 2, do these named female characters speak to one another?
Yes.
Question number 3, do they speak to each other about anything besides men?
Yes, indeed.
We are back on track with the Bechdel test. It was a rough week last week, but this week was great from a Bechdel standpoint.
Woohoo! I will say I missed Audrina. She was only in that first little scene and then wasn't in the rest of the episode. I'm like, I need more Audrina, please.
We never get enough of you, Audrina. Come back next week, please, please, please. Winners of the week. Susan, who was your winner of the week?
Duh. This is probably the easiest winner of the week ever. Whitney.
Easiest ever.
Do I even need to explain why? She looked amazing. She did amazing. She was just amazing. So, of course it's her.
And she got a compliment from Lisa Love. Hello.
I mean, that's not an easy thing to get.
No.
I assume she's your winner of the week as well.
100%.
Jem
And Susan's
Funniest Moments.
Jem, what was your funniest moment of the episode?
Susan, the funniest moment by far in this episode for me was when Elsie was trying to either take off or put on her headset, and she punched herself in the face with it by accident, and it just fell off, and there were all these shenanigans, and she pushed through it, which was really funny. Hilarious, funniest moment by far.
Well, my funniest moment was when Heidi's ex-date, whose name I don't remember, was intentionally stirring up Jordan, and they were talking, and when Brian and Jordan were like talking to the side, and she was talking to the ex-date, and I heard her say, "I smell it."
What?
Yeah, Heidi said, "I smell it" to the ex-date guy, and for some reason that made me laugh so hard, because I'm like, what is she talking about, and why did they keep that in there?
I smell it.
Isn't that weird? But it made me laugh so hard, because I'm like, I want to know what that means. I was like, does she smell pot? Are they talking about like, oh, I smell like booze everywhere? Like, what is it? Or like, oh, do you like my perfume? Or do you like my cologne? And I was like, yeah, I smell it. It was just weird. I'm like, why did they leave that in? Because I'm
You
sure
know what probably smelled was the smell of the dumpster when she and Jordan were going to have a fight.
emails, tweets, and Instagrams. Oh my!
Thank you so much to all of our fans around the world who are liking our Instagram photos, commenting, reading our Tumblr blog, tweeting us, writing on our Facebook page. We really appreciate you and all of the support. And please feel free to send us over anything that you want included in emails and tweets, oh my, or whatever our thing is called.
Jem, I can't believe you don't know what our beautiful segment with fan emails is called.
Emails, tweets, and Tumblr, oh my.
Oh, Jem. Thanks for listening to Words Unspoken, the Hills podcast. Here's the scoop on all of the many ways you can contact us. We'd love to hear your feedback and ideas for the show.
You can email us at wordsunspokenpodcast@gmail.com.
You can find us on Twitter at The Hills Podcast and Instagram and Facebook at Words Unspoken Podcast.
We are even on Tumblr, which definitely did not exist when The Hills first aired. And you can also visit our website, wordsunspokenpodcast.com.
Please subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes. We are also available on Stitcher, Google Play, and SoundCloud.
We'll talk to you next Friday.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
You and all your pretty little friends up in the hills where the party never ends. Your schemes and your dreams when you're whole and you're broken. I'm telling all about it in my words unspoken.
You're so bossy.
Shh.
You don't shush me.
I do shush you.